Thank you so much. Hello everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. And actually, Tokyo is not strange for me because I have been here for a few times under the different title. But this is my first trip as NUG, National Unity Government Foreign Minister. I would like to express that the NUG and the people of Myanmar highly value the ties of friendships, mutual understanding, and cooperation that Japan and Myanmar have enjoyed over the course of many years. Taking this opportunity, I would like to share about my trip to Japan briefly. I have met with the deputy speakers of National Diet and members of parliaments and expressed our sincere gratitude for the unwavering support of the National Diet and the people of Japan to the people of Myanmar who are suffering every day at the hands of the military junta. It is also a pleasure for me to be here today to amplify the voice and the aspirations of the people of Myanmar who are suffering and struggling under the brutal military dictatorships. One of the reasons I'm here in Tokyo is that to talk about Myanmar current political update and which is carried by the resilience of the people and aspiration of the people for their democratic future. And another reason is to meet and greet with Myanmar diaspora and to appreciate the role that they are playing in this revolution. So actually in the early weeks after the coup, the people of our cities, our towns, our villages and countrysides with one voice, they said no. This rejection of the junta coup is not driven only by the democratic, political and civic activists. It was still nationwide rejections coming from all social and professional groups, civil servants, medical workers, teachers, female textile factory workers, and even railway workers took all streets to protest attempted military coup. The spontaneous and mass-scale rejections of the junta was also generational uprising of our teenagers and students of our Generation Z. Actually, half of Myanmar population is under the age of 30. They have been promising future for themselves during the democratic transitions, and they have been and still are determined not to let military take that future away from them. So this rejection of the junta coup also united the many ethnic groups across my country in unifying vision of the federal democratic state. This rejection and these visions unite us still. It is important to add that people of my country rejected attempted coup with disciplined, non-violent protests and civil disobedience, which led for months. However, the military scaled up and intensified violence and brutality by killing unarmed protesters or by arresting thousands of them and severely torturing them in detention centers. We faced choice to either succumb to Myanmar Airlines' ugly dictatorships and let the country and its people be raped for the enriching of the military elites, or to defend ourselves and our belief in another future, a better future, a future in which the people are sovereign. People of my country made decision to defend themselves against military's war of terror. So that was not decision of one or another political leadership groups. This was collective decision of the whole nation. Now, nearly 3 years on from that coup, I am here to tell you that we have not been crushed and defeated, that we are successfully pushing military from more and more territory, and that we still believe. In fact, we know that Myanmar will be free and the people will be in charge of our own affairs in a decentralized and federal democracy. So out of this confidence has come the resilience that has seen us through years of military violence, of airborne assault on our hospital, our schools, of dispositions and murder. The people of Myanmar have been stripped of the protection of law. The military have hanged those they dislike for no other crime than for the believing in freedom. They choose every day to reject international law and the values of a civilized society. We have endured years of military violence, so that is why now dislocations of more than 2 million people from their homes, and we are still resilient and determined not to give up and confident that we will prevail because we are driven by the will of the people. After ruthless violence, numerous atrocities and crimes, the junta controls actually less than 40% of the rural territory, and very recently it has started to lose the control over the first cities. It faces determined armed resistance across the country. Defections from the military and police are occurring at all levels, a sign of the deep discontent. This military junta does not have control over most of the state's territory. It commands no consent from the bulk of the population. It cannot have any reasonable expectancy of permanence. It has failed every humanitarian and even legal test. The junta cannot even control the spread of human trafficking that is feeding the scam activities that are taking place within Myanmar. So which is NUG one of the first priority even under very difficult circumstance to protect and to address that the transitional crimes and human traffickings and that kind of issues. These crimes are greatly to the detriment of our neighbors and increase the suffering of our people. But military attempted coup is now being undone by the people. This is being achieved through our application of policies ordered towards revolutionary change. This includes continuous diplomatic pressure to isolate the junta. It includes cutting the junta from the international sources of revenue upon which its war machines depend. It includes enabling our humanitarian, health, and education services to expand as the junta destroys those human services that it might have used for the good of the people. Above all, we are succeeding through the military actions of our partners, actually ethnic partners in this revolutionary war. As has been made clear in public statements, these offenses are ordered towards eradicating these military dictatorships. This is the aspiration shared by the whole populations of Myanmar. It unites us in one shared purpose. You will all have seen the impact of these latest offensive across our country. Large numbers of junta soldiers are rightly and properly surrendering in the face of these coordinated actions. Those junta troops deceived by Min Aung Hlaing and his commanders will be treated respectfully according to the international humanitarian law. In the same way, we always respect the safety of diplomatic and international humanitarian staff. This is a shared commitment across all of our partners and has been effective in ensuring that UN and INGO staff were able to leave Loikor last few weeks, thanks to the interim Executive Council of Karenni States, which is emerging executive committee, bottom-up emergence of the administrative council based on our control. And with the revolutionary and civil society organization working on the ground, we are substituting and the local administrations in order to bring and make sure the rule of law in our control area. The National Unity Government, in close collaboration with its partners across the states and region, is now delivering as much humanitarian support as we can. And we are also working to build up health and education services in anticipation of increased need. We seek actually your help from Japan and also, of course, from the international donors and friendly country in this humanitarian response. You will have seen renewed call for aid from many parts of our country. We ask the international community to respond immediately to the growing needs of displaced people across Myanmar. While we focus on our life-saving work, we are also preparing for the transition to civilian rule. The principles that inform this transition are laid out in Federal Democratic Charter. We are fighting to achieve an inclusive federal democracy in which sovereignty belongs to the people of each of the states and regions of Myanmar. We are committed to a future in which all people have an equal voice and in which stability, the rule of law, and respect for international treaty replace the Honduras' current chaos. Only chance to end this violence and chaos, and in order to bring civilians and democratic rules in my country, is for current Honduras to be removed. This is what we are fighting for, and this is the ground that we are working on, and then they are ready. Actually, military Honduras is ready to fall. The only question is how long it will take for this to happen, and how much more damage and suffering Honduras will be unable to inflict through the passivity and inactions of our friendly and democratic countries. So to raise the voice and to share what is happening on the ground, I am here to meet with the Japanese government officials, parliamentarians, civil society workers, and civil society organizations and advocacy groups, of course, in the journalists here in Japan. So this is the time for revolutionary change. Myanmar knows this, and the people demand it, and I am here to amplify that demand, and your support for the people's cause is greatly appreciated. And thank you so much, and I welcome the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much,